This episode of Destructoid is brought to you by Gamefly. Coming up on Destructoid, Microsoft finally reveals the Xbox One. But what does it all mean? We investigate the truth right now on Destructoid.
Welcome to Destructoid. I'm Tara Long.
And I'm Max Scoville.
And the day has finally arrived.
We were so wrong about the name of it.
We're wrong about a lot of things.
We're wrong about a lot of this is true. Yeah, so the Xbox One is the name of the new Xbox that we've been calling the Next Box or the Durango or the 720 or the Infinity or whatever the hell else we've been calling it.
One of any number of terrible names. They announced, this morning during their press conference that it'll be launching around the world later this year. We have sort of wrapped up a lot of the highlights of the press conference. Let's start with hardware, which we still don't really know a whole lot about. A lot of information is still kind of trickling out of the conference. We did get a look at the actual system, as well as the controllers and the new version of Kinect, which is really nice. I actually think that the system looks quite slick.
Yeah, people are saying it looks like an 80s VCR.
Okay.
I'm okay with that.
Yeah, I'm totally okay with that.
I like that it looks like a thing that you would buy at a home electronics store as opposed to like a wacky toy for teenagers.
Yeah,
you know?
and I like that it's flat on top, so you can put things
and
well
that
on
controller
half of it,
looks really nice.
It does. The specs that we currently know are that it'll have 8 gigs of RAM, native 64-bit architecture. It's also going to have an 8-core CPU, a Blu-ray drive, which of course people were sort of predicting. It's going to have a 500 gig hard drive, as well as USB 3.0 support, Wi-Fi Direct, and 2 gigabits of data processing per second. So it's going to be pretty fast. It also promises to be a practically silent operation, which is a far cry from the current 360.
The jet engine processor.
We also know it's going to ship right out of the box with the newest version of Kinect, which is not built into the system as many of us previously suspected. The new Kinect is going to be capable of capturing 1080p video at 30 frames per second with far more precision than the current model and with a much closer range. Meaning you might finally be able to be detected, Max. And apparently they were saying that you can stand as close to like 3 feet from the system, and it'll still detect your entire body, which is pretty cool. Apparently you can even read your heartbeat.
That's terrifying.
Which is terrifying, but also cool if you're into fitness games. Last but not least, the controller. We've seen that already. We know it's going to have an integrated battery compartment. It's also going to have dynamic impulse triggers and a totally redesigned D-pad. They're also completely integrating smart glass into the console from the get-go, so you're going to be able to control it that way as well with your iPad or your iPhone and stuff.
Sounded good.
The hardware was pretty much what I expected, I think.
Yeah. Apart from hardware, there was a lot of stuff that we're kind of expecting. The Xbox One, has a lot of device integration. It's got the smart glass thing. It's got a lot of social media crap. You can see what your friends are doing and all that. And it's really just reinventing itself as an all-in-one entertainment device. All in one. Thus the namesake. There's a ton of voice functionality, and the demo was begun by saying Xbox on, which made it turn on. Apparently switching between games, TV, web browsing, and even Skype is possible with Snap Mode, which doesn't make you shut anything down. You're just kind of popping in between things, so multitasking is a breeze, or if you have no attention span, it's about to get worse. There's also a trending tab on your dashboard now, which tracks what your friends are doing, whether it's playing games, watching movies, etc., and then makes recommendations for you based on that. You can also see like the kind of global trending thing. So basically it's like, Facebook suggested pages meets Amazon's customers also bought, but it's on your Xbox.
Yeah, the PS4 had something similar also, where they were like, we're going to figure out what you like and then download it before you even know you want it.
You are no longer the controller, you are now the focus group. The Xbox One reveal put a lot of emphasis on all the TV-related stuff it can do, including a fully functioning TV guide and channel surfing capabilities. So now you finally have a machine. This is like the most American device ever. You can shout at this machine in your living room, and you can watch The Price is Right, and you can make a pizza go to your house.
I love that that was the show they chose to showcase, although I guess it's on right now.
That was nice because it was a daytime press conference, and they were like, let's see what's on TV, and it's like the Today Show and The Price is Right.
I know, what if it was a commercial or something? I don't know.
Well, if that's not your thing, you're probably going to be more interested in the fact that there is a Halo TV show in the works, being executive produced by Steven Spielberg, so that's pretty exciting. It's unclear if this is going to be like an Xbox kind of exclusive thing, or if it's going to be an actual TV show that's also available on Xbox, but again, a lot of lot of vagueness. Again, we talked about the smart glass functionality, and that was hyped up, and they didn't really say much aside from the fact that, again, it was built from the system from the startup, and also that a lot of people downloaded it. So that's great. It was announced that with the launch of the Xbox One, some updates will be made to Xbox Live. Microsoft is actually increasing the number of servers to 300,000, which is a lot compared to the fact that the 360 launched with 15,000 servers and the original Xbox Live launched with only 500 servers, which is pretty. That's a lot of computing power.
A lot of computers. A
lot of terabytes. Now you can have up to 1,000 friends on your friends list, which is a big step up from the previous 100 friend limit, which is like that was keeping you from being cool and popular. Your gamer tag and gamer score will carry over, which I know is a big relief for a lot of people, but unfortunately downloaded XBLA games won't. And the Xbox One is not backwards compatible with 360 games either, which is pretty crappy. Xbox One games will have to be installed, kind of like on a PS3, though thankfully Microsoft is taking a page from the PS4's book and allowing them to be playable during installation. It's unclear if they're going to be playable during download too, like they are on the PS4, but still that's kind of cool as opposed to waiting for something to happen instead of playing a game.
Sure.
Now after installing a game, that game will be bound to that player's account, apparently. This is one of these things they're being really vague about. If anybody else wants to take that game and run it on a different console, if you've got like a physical copy and you want to install it on your friend's Xbox One, you're gonna have to pay a fee, possibly the full price of the game. It seems like this is, to cut down on used game sales, though in an FAQ on Xbox.com, Major Nelson stated that we are designing Xbox One to enable customers to trade in and resell games. We'll have more details to share later. And then in a Kotaku interview, Microsoft's Phil Harrison said that it will be possible to trade games online, though he wasn't really able to say much else. So basically, it's looking very possible that what I was saying last week about EA phasing out online passes, probably being more out of them being redundant than anything else. Yeah. So, take down those celebration banners. This is, of course, the type of thing that the internet tends to get all upset about, but right now I think it's probably best to just wait for the dust to settle before we grab our pitchforks and torches, because we still basically have no idea what the hell is going on. I sort of wish that,
Where's that dildo bat of mine?
Yeah,
I'm angry.
Let's go shake it outside the Microsoft offices.
Yeah.
Get in trouble. No, I think a lot of it is still, they're being very unclear about things so far, but,
It's true. I mean, they didn't directly address a lot of the issues there, and we're going to come back and talk about those in the second half of the show. But I want to talk about games, obviously, which are a huge part of any console reveal. They were surprisingly sparse during Microsoft's press conference this morning. They started off with mostly sports games. They had Andrew Wilson from EA Sports come out, and he said that FIFA 14, as well as Madden 25, NBA Live 14, and UFC Championship would all be launching on the Xbox One over the next 12 months, which I guess gives them a little bit of breathing room after the actual launch. They also said that FIFA 14's Ultimate Team mode is going to be exclusive to the system, and all EA Sports games are going to be developed using the new Ignite engine, which they developed, which promises 10 times more animation depth, 4 times more AI calculations per second, and 3D crowds, you guys.
Wow.
Sports games have reached the future.
I like how they demonstrated this by showing this kind of weird, vaguely cartoony CG trailer.
Yeah, it was I had a hard time during this entire press conference telling what was gameplay footage and what was just pre-rendered footage. We still don't know. The only thing I know for sure that's gameplay was Call of Duty Ghosts, which we're going to talk about later. But Microsoft also announced a partnership with the NFL, which is going to allow them to directly integrate fantasy football statistics into the dashboard so you could view them as you're watching TV. This sort of goes in with that multitasking thing he was talking about earlier. Aside from sports games, the head of Microsoft Studios, Phil Spencer, came out on stage at one point to announce that there are more titles in development now than any other time in Microsoft history. They were pretty reluctant to show a lot of them off, but they did say that the Xbox One is going to boast more than 15 exclusive games in its first year of launch, 8 of which are going to be brand new IPs, which I'm personally really excited about. I know. One of those IPs is this game Quantum Break, which we got a taste of with the teaser trailer. This is the new game from Remedy, the guys who made Max Payne and Alan Wake. And it's sort of hard to tell what's going on because it is a teaser trailer and part of it is live action, but it seems to be about a girl who can see through time. And then the tagline of the game is, "Time is the fire in which we burn." So, yeah,
I don't know.
I trust those guys. I know it'll be good, but this was sort of an underwhelming reveal. Then again, the whole thing sort of was. They showed some brief footage of Forza Motorsport 5 unsurprisingly. That's one of their flagship games. That's one of the few ones that we know will actually be available at launch, along with Call of Duty Ghosts, which was easily the biggest reveal of this event, despite the fact that we already knew it was happening. They closed out the conference with some gameplay footage of that, but there were also a couple pieces of news to come out of that. One is that Hollywood director Stephen Goggin, I'm not sure how to pronounce your last name. I'm sorry, sir. He's the guy who wrote Traffic and directed Syriana. He's going to be writing Call of Duty Ghosts, which is pretty exciting. The other piece of news is that the Xbox One is going to have timed exclusivity on all Call of Duty Elite content, which I know is really huge with Call of Duty players. They also confirmed that it's going to be releasing on November 5th on current gen consoles with an unspecified release date for next gen. So don't go thinking that, you know, Xbox One's going to be out on November 5th, because it may very well not be the case. I wish I had more to talk about in terms of games.
There's dogs in Call of Duty.
There's dogs in Call of Duty.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's the best we got.
Yeah.
Let's take a word from our sponsor.
Let's do that.
So, GameFly is the largest online video game rental service with a selection of over 8,000 games, new and old, across all consoles and handhelds, and they've got plans starting at just $15.95 a month, and GameFly members can rent 1 to 4 games at a time and keep them for as long as they like. There are no late fees, no due dates, and shipping is always free. Once you're done playing a game, just send it back, and GameFly will send you the next available game on your list. Or if you really like the game you're playing and you want to keep it, you can do just that. Just click on Keep It on the GameFly website, and the game is yours at a discounted price. GameFly will even mail you the case and manuals free of charge. It's not just for console kiddies either. With GameFly's unlimited PC Play Plan, PC gamers can play hundreds of games for free with only a membership. Head over to gamefly.com/Destructoid and we'll hook you up with a free 15-day trial just for signing up. Again, that is gamefly.com/Destructoid for all of your video game rental needs.
Okay. Speaking of games, let's get back to our game show.
That's a good thing to do.
I guess is what we're calling it. So we've run down a lot of the basics. We've got the hardware specs, the media capabilities, the new games, but we haven't really told you what we think about it yet. Obviously, there's still a lot that we don't know, and I'm sure E3 is going to clear up a lot of the misconceptions and gaps in knowledge here, but for now, how do we feel about this? Was this what you expected? Were you satisfied?
No, not really. I don't think this is a press conference for us. I think I've seen a lot of people comparing it to how Apple approaches press conferences, and that they're just like, here's a machine, here's a device for everyone.
Behold.
Yeah, and I think that this is really trying to present it as kind of an entertainment console. And you know, when we watch E3 press conferences and there's like that stuff in the beginning where we're just like, can you just show us the games already? I think they just showed us all of that ahead of time, and then when E3 rolls around, they're just going to be like, games, 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 or at least, you know, I can hope as much.
I really hope that they pull some surprises at E3, because I feel like if they don't, I mean, obviously they're going to have a lot of games to show off. I don't know what they are yet. I don't know if they're going to be games that we already know are coming, or if they're going to be those new IPs they were talking about. I do take issue with a lot of the design decisions they made. Obviously, the switch from PowerPC to x86 renders the system not capable of backwards compatibility. That's unfortunately just a technical issue that is hard to avoid with something like this. I am curious also about that fee that they've been talking about introducing, and that's tied more to your Xbox Live account than the system itself, I think. So theoretically, you could probably uninstall the game from your system and install it on somebody else's, and I'm not sure if you would have to pay a fee if you did that.
I think it's kind of dumb that they're talking about it right now when they're not really ready to fully talk about it.
Yeah,
you know,
well, because they didn't really
panic.
explain it very well, and people want to know, you know, like we've had all these pressing issues, like the persistent internet connection. We know now that you're not going to have a persistent connection. The Xbox will have to have a connection to the internet, but if your internet goes out, it's not going to kick you off of the game or something, which is good to hear, actually. That was really one of my big concerns. But yeah, I mean, I started off thinking it was really awesome when they were doing all that like Minority Report stuff and like the Kinect navigation.
I'm excited about a Kinect that works. I'm liking the new controller a lot. I don't think they went too overboard with it.
Yeah.
I think it's a machine that I don't hate the idea of it being in my living room.
Yeah,
you know?
It's just once they started getting into the games, that's when I started losing interest.
So I don't want the sports or the car or the gun game. I do like the dogs. That's the thing is you get a dog in Call of Duty.
Yeah.
It's like on your team. You get to like run around with your dog, and it finds bombs and probably bites people. Yeah.
Yeah, and hey, arm hair.
Seriously, actually, Hamza Aziz Dale North wrote a preview over on Destructoid about Call of Duty, so you can go see that.
I mean, you know, I'm not really sure what I was expecting from this, but I have to say I'm a little more impressed by the PS4's press conference than Microsoft's.
Well, I think we were coming at it wanting a game console, and I think that PS4 was like, oh, we've been kind of slacking on the games front here. Let's get the gamers back on our side. And then Microsoft was like, hey, we're the really popular thing that everyone has in their living room, whether or not they consider themselves a gamer. Let's, let's show off some stuff you can do with it.
Yeah, now more than ever, I'm kind of seeing this divergence between the two companies where Sony is really more on games and specifically indie stuff, and Microsoft is really just all about media. So I don't know, what do you guys think of the Xbox One? Are you excited? Are you less excited than before? Are you buying up a bunch of Sony stock right now? Let us know in the comments. In the meantime, we'll be sure to put links to all of the trailers that we mentioned in this episode in the annotations, since we can't show a lot of the footage because Activision got mad at us. And of course, if you're itching for more info about the Xbox One, you can find tons of it over on Destructoid.com. We also put up some videos this morning on our Rev3 Games channel. We actually did a live stream of the whole press conference, so if you want to hear the announcements and us annoyingly talking over them, you can do that. We've also got a couple hardware recuts where we just condensed all the hardware information down and put it in a little less than 5-minute video. We've also got impressions from Adam Sessler, who has been reporting live from Redmond, Washington this whole morning. So
it's been a busy week for the gaming industry.
It's been a busy week and a busy day
it's
in
Tuesday,
particular. Yes. You and I are going to be back here on Friday for another live show. I'm sure we'll be talking more about the Xbox One then. That is happening at 3:30 p.m. Pacific time right here on youtube.com/Dtoid. In the meantime, have a great week. And hey, if you're angry about Microsoft's press conference, just maybe try not to be so angry.
Go eat some tacos or look at a bird.
Yeah. See? It's not hard.